Hey, welcome to I Am Refocus Radio. We are here today, and just like any other time, man, we have another special guest today. And today, we're going to be talking about a book. So all y'all book lovers, guess what? We got some fun content for you. We have our special guest today, and her book is Unbreakable that you can get on Amazon. But she's more than an author. She also does speaking engagements, and she has a link tree that we're going to have in our show notes for you to have all the links to her YouTube and her social media platforms. So first and foremost, I want to welcome to the show Carolyn, Sophia, Skowron. She is going to share with us not just her amazing story, but why she does what she does with her new book, her recent book that we're going to be discussing. So without further ado, how you doing today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's Friday, and you know what that means. A couple of days on the weekend, vacation, and back on the ground on Monday. So I'm doing good. So for us, first of all, thank you for your time being on the show today and clearing your calendar. But to start things off, kind of share the audience a little bit about your professional background and what got you inspired to write.
Yeah. So, I went to school actually for marketing. I went to Chatham University in Pittsburgh, go Cougars. And I, in 2020, was in a life-threatening car accident, and it was right nearing the end of my college time. And I basically could have died and gone through the windshield, but I didn't. And it was a second chance at life for me. I struggled a lot with mental health growing up, and just anxiety and self-harm and all of those horrible things. And after the car accident, I was inspired to write my book Unbreakable, because I just realized that I was done silently struggling, and I wanted to help as many people as possible, because being alive after the car accident is such a gift, and it's a miracle. You know, I grabbed the seatbelt seconds before the crash, and, from the look of the car, I mean, you would have thought, oh my gosh, are they alive? So we were really lucky, and I just wanted to help use my voice and help other people who were going through similar things. And that is what led to the book. And then speaking kind of happened because I did have the book out there, and I realized I wanted to do more. And it's so funny because in college, I hated public speaking, and now it's like my favorite thing to do. So that's kind of a little bit about me.
I can totally relate to that, because people never believe me, but I'm still an introvert. Like, I barely just started doing the video part of this podcast because, I don't like being in the public eye. But I'm telling you, it's pretty fun to kind of surprise yourself, say, oh, wow, this is not that bad. But I'm still an introvert, so I totally relate to that. And let's get on the process for how you put your book together. As an author, did you go the traditional way, trying to find a publisher? Did you become an independent publisher and self-publish? What was that process looking like for you?
It's actually funny because one of my best friends has written a book years ago, and she did it through this program through Georgetown. You apply for it, you get accepted, you do that. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can submit it to a publisher, which is what I did, which is called hybrid, I guess, what they do. But New Degree Press is who published it, and I actually have it right here. So this is my baby. I'm so proud of it. It's definitely the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most rewarding thing. And definitely took a risk, but it's been worth it for sure.
When you look at the accident, obviously that is not the only bumps in the road experience in your life. What was your childhood like also, and how did just generally your life experience kind of influence how you wanted to write the book?
It's crazy because growing up, I have the most loving, amazing parents. My mom and dad, even my friends were like, your parents are so cool. And growing up, I never thought that, but they're the best people ever. And my sister has been there for me since day one. So I never really had an issue at home. Mine was like when I walked out the door, I always felt like I wasn't enough. I didn't fit in. I wasn't part of the popular group. I was never a cool kid. Like, I really always felt so alone. And that's kind of the thing too with, I don't want people to feel alone. I want people to feel heard. I want people who are silently struggling, who were where I was, to have someone, to have even me be like, hey, this is my story. And when you're ready, share your voice too. But to inspire them that they're not alone and to just really help them because, I think by being vulnerable and sharing our stories, we can actually help each other more. It's just society. People always are like so scared of what people think. But after my car accident, I didn't give a shit anymore.
And I love the focus on your book is breaking the silence, finding my voice, sharing my story. Let's touch on that because you kind of see it a lot in 2024 since the beginning of the year. A lot of push for breaking the stigma of just people's just their health from the mental standpoint. Mental health is huge. When your book is being shared to readers, what are some of the things that you hope that they can learn from your personal life when it comes to mental health?
I think the biggest thing that I always start with is it's okay to not be okay. But with that, you need to get help and you need to be an advocate for yourself and do something about it because, you have the power to control where you're at. I mean, I was so comfortable being depressed for so long that I didn't share my voice. But, it's almost like I was comfortable in it. And so when you find that term and you basically pivot, which the car accident was the pivot to my life, because from that, I was like, I'm going to take a bad thing and turn it into something that's going to help people. And, that's what I really just try to do every day. So I would say, pretty much that.
Once again, you listen on Refocus Radio talking to our special guest, Carolyn, Sophia, Skowron, and you can go get her book. It's available on Amazon, Unbreakable, Breaking the Silence, Finding My Voice, and Sharing My Story. You have people who are already interacting with you with your book release, and they're leaving your comments and feedback. What has been your favorite part of the process to kind of take the time to see how people are responding to your book?
I absolutely love reading comments because they are just like, their comments like, I feel heard, thank you. Like, it's so inspiring you shared your story and you are someone who, we need more of in the world. I've gotten a ton of things from people on, social media and also, on like, the reviews or whatever. But I try not to read those too much. But, just having people be impacted by it and being able to be like, oh my gosh, like this is something that I can take away from, it's crazy social media, what it is, because going a little on a tangent, but I did this giveaway once on my social media and I ended up shipping it to a girl in Ireland and I wrote her a note and she has the note on her mirror pinned there to remind her every day that she is enough and that she is amazing and that she's going to get through it. And that was like the most heartwarming thing ever to hear that because I was like, that's one person I literally could have saved their life. Like that, it was just like, wow, like it was a really crazy moment.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, how did you feel knowing, you kind of already said it, but I kind of want to dig deeper. How did you feel to understand that someone not even from the United States is feeling connected to not just your story, but being inspired by your own words? Because you said she put in front of her in the mirror so she can see it daily. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that the biggest thing too is just like understanding that you're not alone and really kind of owning who you are. I think we have to do that more because I think authenticity has been lost a lot in the world. And so I always really try to be as authentic as I can. And that's kind of what I did with the book too, though, is I basically was like, here it is. Like, what do you want to know? Because I was like, if I'm exposing my story to help one person save one life, I did exactly what I wanted to do.
And when you focus on the section of the book about finding your voice, were you seeing yourself maybe finding your voice as you were writing this book project, or was it just
absolutely
a whole bucket of time?
I think that the book was such a healing thing for me myself, and to be able to help other people was great. But I think that when I realized that writing my past traumas and stuff on paper and letting it go, realizing that I took this huge load off myself because I realized I was like, you got to let it go. Life is too short. I mean, it's a blessing to be alive. You could have died. And I think that I really just try to look at life as in the most positive way now. And I don't think I really thought about that before. I don't think I thought about before the accident, like, oh, how can I help people with my voice, But after the car accident is when I really kind of started to say, you know what? It's time. It's time to use my voice, and it's time to help even one person. The goal is now to help as many people as possible. And, that's what I love to do. But it's really just about helping that one person, because that's one life that you impacted. And it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 1,000, that one person, they really appreciated it. And that's all that matters.
Once again, listen to Refocus Radio, talking to our guest today, Carolyn, Sophia, Skowron. Get her book on Amazon, Unbreakable, Breaking the Silence, Finding My Voice, Sharing My Story. I want to go back to the point that's still kind of in the highlight reel of my mind. That is when you say you had seconds to get your seatbelt on. And wow, I mean, it doesn't get realer than that. When you see just that part of your story, did time kind of slow down for you? Because when people hear about stories, sometimes they're like, my life flashed before my eyes, or whatever. Explain that for the audience so they can get a nice picture of what you were going through in that moment.
Yeah, so basically, I was in the car with guys that I didn't really know, but it was the guy I liked and his friend. So I was like, oh yeah, sure, what's one small car ride? And I was in the backseat middle. And, I was like, and then his friend was telling me stuff I didn't want to hear about him. And I was like, why am I in the car? And I then whip my head around and see that, oh my gosh, this car is flying at us. We're going to die. This is it. I just remember everyone screaming, this is it. We're going to die. And that moment, that changed everything. And then, right before the crash, I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, my seatbelt. And for me, I'm Christian. So I was like, that was God in my head being like, grab your seatbelt now. You're about to die. So I grabbed my seatbelt and then we crashed.
Wow. And you said if you were there and you saw the aftermath of the crash, you would have been like, wow, how did they survive?
You would have thought we died. Yeah.
Now, if it's not too personal, I don't want to get too personal,
no, go ahead.
But
ask it.
How was everyone after the crash? We know that you made it out okay. How about everybody else?
All of us were alive, and that was the great thing. And, I was really adamant about checking in on, these boys, even though I didn't really know them, because I was like, we literally were on the brink of death together. And you would think that would bring you closer together. But it kind of they were like, this is so weird. Why does this girl care? And the guy at the time, he thought it was so weird too. And I was like, okay, sorry for being a caring person and making sure that you're alive. But, it was a blessing that we all were alive and that we all were able to walk and we all were able to, make it out of there alive and not die. It was just, it's such an experience that just makes you realize and appreciate life, because it took 1 second for my life to completely change forever.
And you mentioned that you're a person of faith. How did this incident and also the process of writing your book, did that kind of make you feel closer to your faith? And if so, explain to the audience how that made an impact in your life.
Yeah, I think that for me, faith was something that I really found through finding my faith again. I grew up as a Christian, but there was a time, and I even wrote it, in my book a little bit, but that I didn't believe anymore. And I was like, if God was real, why would I be cutting myself? Why would I be having through all these horrible, traumatic experiences? Why would no one like me? Why does, and I think that whenever I realized and pivoted and was like, wait a second, you're lucky to have this life. So now you're going to know that there's more of a bigger purpose for you. Because after that car accident, I took it as, this is God giving me my second chance at life. I thought it was about to be done. And the fact that I have this life now and just able to do what I do now is so incredible and fulfilling for me. And I think I just really realized how much my faith was important to me while I was writing the book. And, that was a big thing for healing mentally and just, physically and spiritually was, just praying and believing that there was something bigger. And I think that's also where it comes to is like believing that you have a purpose. I realized I had a purpose, and everyone has a purpose. So I think it's just about finding your purpose, because there is something for everyone on this earth who is living and breathing. I promise you that.
Listen, Unbreakable Radio, talking to our guest today, Carolyn, Sophia, Skowron, and I really appreciate you saying that for the audience, because it's great to have those moments in the show where it's like, wow, this person is very genuine with her words and what she's saying. I can tell that you're passionate about getting on these shows to not just share your story, but kind of, I loved what you said. That accident was like God giving me my second chance. Man, goosebumps, because that's real, because something that could have been life ending, or a tragedy in some other way. You're here to not just tell your story, but you're also here to use it as a tool to showcase how God can not only protect you but guide you through life. And a lot of times we can get overwhelmed with life, but explain to the audience how this also is an anchor for you to be grounded too, because it's one thing to get a little famous or a little popular online and whatever, because you're doing shows now, but it's also a test to stay to your mission.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing is like, I have the most incredible supportive family. I have best friends now that I would have dreamed of having in high school. And it's like, these are my ride or die girls. Like we'll be in each other's lives forever, and just blessed to have that. And I think that with that and having people who really know you and, are going to tell you how things are, it keeps you grounded. And, I wouldn't say I'm like famous or anything, but, even if I was, like, the only thing that would change about me is like the number of people following me. Like, I wouldn't change. My personality wouldn't change. And I think that's the sad thing is a lot of people sometimes let those numbers dictate, oh, I'm above you. I'm going to do what I want. And you're unfollow. Oh my God. I think that's a really big part of not.
Well, people like you should be famous, because that's what it's about. It's like the best ones are the ones who don't even think that they are. And that's what's so great about learning about these stories, is because it's like, wow, I mean, here you are, you're an author, you're a speaker, you're pushing your work, it's working, people are reacting. I mean, it looks like from the outside in that you're doing your thing. So for those who are authors themselves or aspire to be an author, in our last 5 minutes left, kind of share with us what has been the learning curve for you and how you market yourself as far as an author and speaker. Because I remember you said earlier in the interview that you went to school for marketing as well.
Yeah, it's actually funny. It's like I didn't go to school to be a writer, but now here comes the marketing part. But I really think, marketing yourself is about being genuine, and it's about being authentic about your mission. And, that's what I always try to do is be like, look, this car accident made my life pivot. And before, I was so not in a good place. But after this, I realized there was so much more. And that's what I want people to realize is like, there's so much more for you. You might be in a bad place right now, but you don't know what 6 months, a year from now looks like. And the only way that your future is going to change is if you change your actions in the present. And that's really something that people need to realize too. It's like, your actions are going to determine how you feel, and, you have the power of your mind. And I want people to know that, like, just do something that's authentically you, live your life. For so many years, I was just not myself. I wasn't myself with guys. I wasn't myself with friends. And now I'm just like, here it is, and I think that's how it should be, and I think that, with speaking engagement, it's like, it's just an honor to be able to speak to people who want to hear more of my story because, I think that if we start sharing our stories more, people are going to open up more and we might live in a better and more vulnerable world rather than a hateful and cruel world. It's never going to be perfect, but I think that, I think society can get better if people realize what really matters.
Wow, I didn't know I'll be doing some snaps, man. Like, you got poetry and you as well. I see that keyboard in the background. I said in the green room. Like, I like that you have not just this positive mindset, but you have this I'm not going to quit mindset. Like, how people joke around and say, well, not joke around, but people will be like, I got that Mamba effect. Like, you have this, like, I have this determination to not settle. I'm going to go for what was meant for me. Kind of touch on that as we wrap up our thoughts. What does it mean to you personally to say, you know what, I'm determined to find out what is meant for me versus just sit down and play a victim?
That's the thing is I could have gone in the victim mindset and I could have gone of, oh my gosh, poor me, this. But I realized that it was an opportunity to make a change. And I always have been very determined from a young age to be like, to do something. It just like, what would it be? But with writing, I realized that that was going to be the thing that was going to change my life and then change the way that I coped in a healthy way. And I didn't see that before. And I didn't know that I had that in me. I was a better writer than I thought. I thought because I was not doing too well in like the English papers in college, but it was just because I wasn't passionate about it. Like, I'm sorry, but like there are some things you can't write about. Like, you just can't. And it takes a really, hard research and stuff. But for me, because I'm so passionate about what I do, I think it just exudes into everything I do, and I think that no matter what I do, where I go or whatever, one thing will stay the same is I will always stay true to myself and as authentic as possible because people say I'm too nice. And honestly, I take it as a compliment.
Well, I know one thing. If you haven't done a TED Talk, you need to hurry up and get one because...
that's a dream.
Yeah, somebody that knows somebody, please make some connections because, what you just did on this show, that was like a TED Talk, man. Real talk. I think you have a very, very bright future. I don't say that all the time, but I will take the time to say that because... It's like, wow, why aren't you not on some show or something? I mean, I know this show, but I'm just saying like TV. Like, you should really be a face on someone's show because you have something really great. And I just wanted to say that once again, let's not refocus radio talking to our guest, Carolyn, Sophia, Skowron. Go get her book. It's available on Amazon. Unbreakable, Breaking the Silence, Finding My Voice, Sharing My Story. I don't think y'all have seen the last of her. I think she's just kind of warming up to seat right now, and we probably going to see a lot more in the future. So I'll let you have the last words. If someone wants to book you for a speaking engagement or just kind of stay up to date in what you're doing next, how can they do so?
So my link tree, as you said, will be below, but my TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff should be on that. I think my TikTok's like Carolyn.Skowron. I probably should know this, but I've been really focusing on TikTok a lot recently just because you just never know who you're going to help. So, it's Carolyn Skowron, but no space. But I've been, TikTok is something that I really kind of have been loving because I do my best to get off of it after I post because you can find yourself on there for hours. And I do my best not to be. But, we're all addicted to the phones. It's a cycle we have to break.
Well,
but yeah, that's kind of where you can find me. And you can also go to my website, carolynsophia.com. And you can book me and you can set up a call with me and we can get something going from there.
Well, like always, like we tell all of our guests, appreciate your time for being on with us, Carolyn, and best wishes to not just your book, your speaking, but anything else you do with marketing or just whatever you're going to do. Because like I said, I think you have a very bright future ahead of you.
Thank you. Hopefully it involves singing and learning piano.
Oh, that's breaking news. You did say you can sing. All right. Okay. So when you dropping the single or the album, which one's coming?
So I have a single out. It's called Hold On and Stay. It's a ballad.
Hold up, time out. We're going to extend this. This is exclusive. So you have to back it up. Tell us about your song real fast and how people can find you.
Yeah, Hold On and Stay is a song I wrote in very early stages of COVID because I wanted people to have a song to like come to if they were feeling so broken and lost. Music has helped me a lot in life. You know, I didn't really mention it, but music has been a huge way of coping for me. And, you know, I sang in college and, you know, did that and I loved it. So, yeah, I have one song out. I'm hoping to do more. I have some lyrics, but it's always hard to like get the nitty gritty. So hopefully in the future I will be able to do that more. But, you know, I just think that as long as I'm doing it for fun, that's all I care about.
Well, officially, I want to say thank you for your time.
Thank you.